Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today with Toonami's ratings from September 25th, 2021. Let's start with the top of the block. At the top of the block, we have Fana Pirate Princess at a .08, My Hero Academia at a .08, Yashahime at a .07, The Food Wars at a .07, Black Clover at a .06, Naruto Shippuden at a .06, and Dr. Stone at a .04, and Dragon Ball Super at a .03. This is without exaggeration, by the way, the worst week in the history of Toonami ratings wise. The previous record was set by June 19th schedule, which had the first episode of the block being My Hero Academia at a .09. Fana outdoes it in the worst possible way by going down to a .08. Now and there's one very obvious change that happened to the block this week relative to previous weeks. Well, the change was before the block, and that is the disappearance of Family Guy. As you might know, that Warner Media no longer has the rights to air reruns of Family Guy. It's been fully bought by Disney. So if you want to watch reruns of Family Guy on TV, you have to go to a Disney channel, which is like, I think also like FX, FXX, Freeform. They have reruns, and that's where to find them now. You won't be finding them on Adult Swim. And historically, Family Guy, if you back when they can see the actual ratings of non-premiere shows like leading up to it, it would be this large tent pole where it would usually even outrate Rick and Morty episodes, especially when they rerun the same like 10 episodes of Rick and Morty again and again and again for weeks on end. It typically gets boring and no one really watches it anymore. And this also shows quite scarily that Phantom Pirate Princess didn't really make a draw beyond probably the die-hard Toonami crowd. And that's the thing. I'm looking around outside the Toonami sphere of influence here, and at least the American anime fandom, whatever you may call it, and I haven't seen much talk at all about Fana. I heard maybe a teeny tiny bit when it first came out and it was more lukewarm, a little more on the positive side, but it wasn't like people saying, "This is a diamond rough anime, you have to watch it." It was more like, "It's decent. If you like the main character, you'll like it." And right here, and that's the thing. And you have Warner Media throwing a lot of money into Phantom Pirate Princess, with that being a co original along with Crunchyroll, along with Production IG. And to see that show not even hit a .1 after admittedly some of the early weeks it was pulling in pretty respectful ratings, getting to a .2 a couple times. But after that, man, and this is bad. There's no way to spin a sub .1 rating as good, especially with the large amount of money that Toonami, Warner Media, William Street put into this, and that is just not good. And again, that leads to the fact you're not getting Family Guy again. This wasn't a one-off thing. At least with Juneteenth, which was the previous record, you could be like, well, they took away Family Guy, they took away Rick and Morty, and put in for that one night the Boondocks and Black Dynamite, critically acclaimed and great shows, but they don't pull in ratings. They never really pulled in the numbers that, again, the more generic Fox animated series got. And that is why, for years, I think the entirety of Toonami on Adult Swim, you always at some point during that night had Family Guy. That's just because, I mean, Family Guy became Adult Swim in a weird way. This Adult Swim, which always got known for always having these like off kilter, very alternative shows that probably wouldn't have ever lasted on any other network. Oddly enough, and quite ironically, what Family Guy became the identifiable face of the block. It became where the ratings were. Like outside of Rick and Morty, there's no shows that really contend with Family Guy on a popularity scale or really even pulling the ratings on Adult Swim. Like, for example, even like new episodes of Robot Chicken, which has become one of the big linchpin shows for Adult Swim, barely get over 300,000 now. And by comparison, this episode of Phantom Pirate Princess got 181,000 to kind of calibrate. So, I mean, Phantom Pirate Princess is underperforming. Maybe not underperforming as much as you would think in a nutshell if you compared it to the fact that the rest of Adult Swim's ratings have also been down. And there's a fun little graphic. I think it was CN News and Schedule on Twitter posted doing these ratings, and like a few minutes later, he posted Cartoonito's ratings. What is Cartoonito? Cartoonito is like the children's preschool block. That's like kind of like how Nickelodeon and Disney have like their own junior blocks, which at least used to be like a few hours in the morning. I think they're their own networks now. A few hours in the morning would be like preschool oriented shows. And that's what Cartoon Network's doing now. And quite famously, one of the shows they selected to be on this block is the very infamous Caillou. Now, I can go all into detail about what Caillou is, and so many of you are going to make Go Animate references probably in the comments section. But Caillou got 100, averaged 162,000 viewers per episode in its second week on Cartoonito. That would make it the second highest rated show on Toonami this week. Apples and oranges comparison, obviously, but still, that's just a fun thing to say that Caillou beat My Hero Academia. It's just like, I mean, that just really puts into context just how this was just been an ugly week for Toonami. And again, this is mathematically the worst week in the history of the block. Not a single show ended in the top 50. Fana was 55th, and I think for premieres, albeit that was a bit diluted because every single college football game counted as a premiere, and there's a bunch on cable this weekend. And also, I think it was like My Hero got like 60th. I want to say Black Clover was like 110th or something. And it was just an ugly scene. And schedule's going to shake up a bit. I keep forgetting we're near the end of Black Clover. I think there's only 1 or 2 episodes left before we say goodbye for good for Black Clover on the block. It'll be interesting to see what we get a replacement with that because I'm looking at least the seasonal anime or the ones that have hype. There's been very little hype this year of especially shonen anime in 2021, which might mean that Toonami is going to have to dig into its old bag of tricks. Because last year, when we had no anime coming out due to COVID, we got something like Paranoia Agent, or the very lazy solutions of making Ball Masters a Toonami show, and the very lazy solution of making Jimaseto Death Beats a Toonami show. 2020, like, I know, I'm pointing out how bad the ratings are now. 2020 might be the worst Toonami's ever been in terms of quality of show just because they had to make general Adult Swim shows into Toonami shows. And at least this year we got the premieres, the Toonami exclusives with Phantom Pirate Princess. There's some argument that the new show to replace Black Clover is gonna be Black Lotus finally coming out. I read somewhere, I want to say someone said they're expecting it to be November, so maybe a little later, we have to wait a little more on that. And again, I mean, that's gonna be interesting to see what the schedule does. On the bright side, Yashahime didn't fall much, but that's only because My Hero Academia fell before it. The ratings were so low, Yashahime had nowhere to go. And that's just sad. And what Tommy needs to do is to find a way to get more casuals to the block that they lose from not having Family Guy out in front of it. So again, what do you guys think? What would you do to solve this quite a situation we're in here? Leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. I love reading them. I'm a Super Orange Cat, and that is all.